All right, guys, I am a huge fan of Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you saw that review a couple years ago, I love this movie. I was so excited for this sequel. So, does it hold up to that one? Let's find out. So, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, directed by Kenan, is the new installment of the Ghostbusters franchise. This is the fourth film in the original Ghostbusters canon. It's the fifth Ghostbusters film overall. So the story here is pretty much a evil ghost that likes to freeze stuff is taking over New York, and it's up to the Ghostbusters to put a stop to him. And there you go. That's like the gist. That is the plot. Well, also the new Ghostbusters, the grandchildren, the daughter of Egon Spengler, are kind of heads of the team now. They're out ghostbusting and all that, and they're causing problems in the city because they also got a minor on the team, and that causes some issues, and that's a whole other thing. And look, like I said up top, I was so stoked, so excited for this movie. And while I didn't hate this movie, I admittedly was a little disappointed. It's got a few problems, a lot of good stuff in it, but definitely a lot of problems. Look, it definitely lacks the charm of Afterlife. Afterlife was just such a unique, and it felt a little more original than this film. This film felt like it was trying to do all the member berries. It was taking all the locations you remember from the original Ghostbusters films. It brought back the original characters from the Ghostbusters films, which is fine. But it felt like they overstuffed this movie to the point where there were so many new characters. There was returning characters, but they didn't have much to do. There were subplots that just, what was the point of these subplots? And it got weird in some places. So let's start off with the good. Look, the good here is, it is a good cast. I like this cast quite a bit. I would love to see more from these guys. Paul Rudd crushes it. Bringing in Kumail Nanjiani was a fantastic addition. Very welcomed. I love Kumail. Everything he's done, I have just totally been into. You bring back some of the original Ghostbusters who all have, their moments to shine. I think Dan Aykroyd especially, I was so happy to have back a little more in the fold. McKenna Grace, she was like my all-star from the first film. This one, she's still pretty good, but the storyline they give her is my biggest issue with the film. There's this whole subplot with her and this ghost. I don't want to get too much into it because that's a spoiler. And I just felt like that whole subplot was kind of just, what are we doing here? This is a very odd thing. Her character took a weird turn too, just in terms of, I thought she was so smart in that first film, and in this one, it's like they dumb her down. Even though she's still smart, she made some dumb decisions, and that's like, she's only dumb for the sake of the plot, which I mean, that really bugs me. That's the kind of stuff I hate. I like the mythology in this. They really take an extra step to kind of build the Ghostbusters world up a little more. I think that was a pleasant addition. Like, they have like a little bit bigger of a team. A lot of people have different roles. There's, they go into some different types of ghosts, some new ghosts, and they have this new facility they go into, which I thought was very fascinating. I was like, they could take this franchise in so many interesting and cool directions now. And I'm a little sad that they didn't capitalize on that aspect of the film, and instead they kind of, I don't know, they meandered in a lot of weird places. They started a lot of interesting plot threads that just kind of weirdly resolved themselves or didn't really go anywhere, and they just kind of said, hey, here's a thing we're going to follow all movie long. And you don't really think about it or talk about it. And at the end, you kind of just, we figured it out. You can do this thing now because it's the end of the movie and not the start of the movie where we didn't let you do that thing before. It's like, okay, the writing here, I'm a little bummed that Ivan Reitman's son from the last movie, Jason Reitman, he was the director on that last one, did a great job. A little bummed that he didn't come back to direct this, but I still had faith. He still co-wrote the script, but something was missing. I felt like his direction for this film was definitely missed because, no offense to the current director of this, but I just felt like that magic was lost. I felt like it just didn't have the same the same care that the last film had to make it, so unique and fresh and fun. And while there's still elements of fun and a little bit of freshness in there, they really just felt like they had too many ideas and couldn't decide which ones to narrow down, and the rest of the film suffered for it. Granted, I'm not like the biggest Ghostbusters fan. You can see I have all the movies, including the ladies Ghostbusters. I have all of them. I like the Ghostbusters movies the whole franchise, I like it a lot. I'm not like super fan. Like I got a buddy who's a super fan, and I don't know. I feel like this is still a film you could have a good time during. I feel like this is a film that you'll still laugh, you'll have your chuckles. But the problem, another problem of its many is that it does meander quite a bit. I felt like it wasn't until after that I was only the hours. The film is only an hour and 45 minutes, and I felt like we didn't get to the bad guy. We didn't get to the meat of what this movie was going to be about till about an hour in. I'm like, really? We got 45 minutes left, and now I feel like we're getting introduced to the bad guy. Like they teased him throughout, but you didn't actually physically see the bad guy until the last 45 minutes, and it felt like a bit of a waste because I thought this character, I forget the name that they used, but this ice monster ghost guy was really cool, very cool design, very cool premise. They built up a lot of interesting lore, especially with the ghost monster's connection to Kumail Nanjiani's character. I actually dug that aspect of it. That was a piece of mythology I was really into, but it just felt like they just focused on the wrong things at the wrong time and didn't let certain things breathe and let certain things kind of get fleshed out more. And that's the biggest disappointment with this. I would still love to see another one, but with this one, I don't know. I would still recommend people see it, but if you didn't like the last one, you probably won't dig this one. If you love the last one, you might be a little let down, but you could still have a good time with it. I don't think it's as bad as like some of the Rotten Tomatoes scores and people have put out there. It's not terrible, but it is definitely a bit of a mess. But if you can get past that, I still think this could be an enjoyable time. And of course, they got a lot of great merch. My movie theater was selling some cool stuff for this movie, so go out and get yourself some Ghostbusters merch. Now's the time. Of course, you're going to get that stinking song stuck in your head. I mean, I've had it stuck in my head all night since I've seen the movie, but, so we'll see. At the end of the day, though, I am going to give this film a solid C. It was definitely middle of the road. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. It was just it was a movie. I was disappointed. That's the biggest bummer of it all, though, is being disappointed by a movie that I was actually pretty excited about. I had this on my top, 10 anticipated of the year list. Something always disappoints me. I guess this is the one. Well, one of. We'll see if anything else disappoints me. But this is one that totally disappointed me a little bit. Again, didn't hate it. Just didn't love it. What do you guys think? Are you Ghostbusters fans? Do you plan on seeing this Ghostbusters film? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you could, please hit that like button, subscribe button, the little bell notification to be notified whenever you want to see new movie reviews I drop. It'd be greatly appreciated. So yeah, guys, until the next review, I'll be seeing you.